You ever notice how some people just never post? No birthday selfies, no vacation dumps, no look what I made for dinner, just silence while everyone else performs their life in real time. And here's the thing, there's a psychological reason behind that silence that most people have never even considered. Let me describe someone real quick. This person has a phone full of photos they've never shown anyone. They'll take a picture, look at it for a second, and then just lock the screen. They watch other people post and feel something, not exactly jealousy, but something adjacent to it. Maybe discomfort, maybe relief that they didn't post. They scroll through feeds, compare, feel a little hollow afterward, and still can't explain why they just can't hit upload. They are not antisocial. They are not boring. They are actually some of the most interesting people in any room. If that felt personal, good. That means this video is for you. Now, before I explain what's actually going on, I want you to sit with a question for a second. Why does posting a photo feel like such a big deal to some people? Like it's just a picture, pixels, data. It shouldn't carry weight. But for certain people it carries enormous weight. There's a hidden pattern underneath that reaction, and most people never notice it because they are too busy either posting or feeling guilty about not posting. Here's the counterintuitive part. The more you try to push yourself to just post something, to just put yourself out there, the worse the resistance gets. Ironically, forcing it makes it worse. And that's not a coincidence. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. So let's talk about what's actually happening up there. Your brain has this ancient system, the amygdala, that's basically a 24/7 threat detector. It was built for survival. Back when being watched meant you were probably about to be eaten. The amygdala doesn't care that it's 2025 and you're just trying to post a brunch photo. It still registers public exposure as potential danger. Now layer on top of that something called the default mode network, the part of your brain that runs when you're not doing anything in particular. It's the voice that narrates your life, the inner critic, the one that says, what will they think? Is this too much? Am I being cringe? Your brain isn't broken. It's just running old software. Think of it like a smoke alarm that goes off when you're just making toast. The alarm is working perfectly. It's just calibrated for a world that doesn't exist anymore. The threat was real once. The protection made sense once, but the trigger is now mismatched with reality. And then there's something called cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable tension when your actions don't match your self-image. A lot of people who never post actually have a really strong, carefully constructed internal identity. Posting feels like a risk to that identity. Like handing a stranger your most personal journal and saying, go ahead, judge it. So the brain goes, nope, hard pass. Here's exactly how this shows up in real life. You're on a trip. Beautiful sunset. The light is perfect. You take the photo actually. You take 11 photos, trying to get the right one. And then you open Instagram. You look at the photo again. Suddenly it looks off, too staged, or not staged enough. You think, who even cares that I am here? You think about that one person from high school who'll see it and think you're trying too hard. You think about the people who won't like it and what that silence will mean. So you close the app, and here's the inner monologue that plays, and tell me if this sounds familiar. I'll post it later, maybe after I edit it. Actually, does it even matter? Other people's trips look more interesting anyway. I don't need validation. I was there. That's enough. And then 3 months later that photo is still sitting in your camera roll, and you feel this strange mix of peace and something that might be regret, but you're not even sure what you'd regret. That's not laziness. That's a very specific psychological pattern playing out with stunning consistency. But here's what no one tells you. That pattern, the avoidance, the second guessing, the pulling back, it's not a flaw in your character. It's a strategy. A strategy your brain learned, probably a long time ago, in a context where it made complete sense. Think about it. At some point in your life, maybe early, maybe not, you got feedback that visibility was risky. Maybe you shared something and it was mocked. Maybe you expressed yourself and someone minimized it. Maybe you watched someone else get torn apart online and your brain quietly filed that away under "do not do this." Or maybe it's even subtler. Maybe you grew up in an environment where being seen too much was dangerous, where standing out led to conflict, where humility meant smallness, and your brain, brilliant adaptive machine that it is, made a rule. Stay behind the glass. Watch. Don't perform. Don't risk it. And that rule protected you. Once. But now you're carrying it into every photo you almost post, every caption you almost write, every moment you almost share, and the rule is still running even though the danger is gone. This is why people who never post are often the most deeply self-aware people in a room. They are not disengaged from the world. They are hyper-engaged with their own internal world. They feel everything more. They process everything more. And they've learned to protect that interior life because at some point, the outside world proved it could do damage. Now let me give you the full picture. Because it's not all one thing. The pulling back, yes, it protected you. Yes, it came from somewhere real. Yes, there's intelligence in it. And also it can quietly cost you. It can cost you connection. Because when you never let anyone see you, they can't actually know you. You become a mystery, and sometimes that's a kind of loneliness that's hard to name. You're present. You're social even. But there's a layer of you that nobody touches. It can cost you creative expression. If you're someone with something to say, and most people who overthink their posts actually have more interesting thoughts than the people who post constantly, that silence is also a silence of something that wanted to exist in the world and didn't get to. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes it reinforces a belief you might not even know you have, that you don't deserve to take up space, that your life, your face, your thoughts aren't worth anyone's time. But here's what's also true simultaneously, at the same time. Some of the most psychologically healthy thing you can do is protect your interior life, to not perform yourself for approval, to have experiences that belong only to you, to understand that your value is not a function of your engagement rate. Both things are true at the same time. The caution is wise, and the caution can become a cage. Both true, simultaneously. So if you're someone who never posts or rarely does, I want to speak directly to something you probably don't say out loud. There's a part of you that wonders if something is wrong with you. Everyone else seems so comfortable, so effortless. They post a selfie and don't think about it for 3 seconds. And you've been thinking about the caption for 20 minutes and still deleted it. You wonder if you're too sensitive, too self-conscious, too much in your head. You're not weird. You're not broken. You're not missing some social gene that everyone else got. You are someone whose nervous system learned to treat visibility as vulnerability. And that learning made sense once. And you are allowed to decide slowly, on your own terms, whether you want to update that rule. Not because you owe the internet your face, not because personal branding matters, not because posting more will make you happier, but because sometimes the bravest thing isn't doing something dangerous. It's doing something small that your fear has made feel enormous. Posting a photo is not brave. But for some people, and you know if you're one of them, it actually kind of is.